Oh. Okay. We're
Well, welcome back to part 2
part 2 of
of
our
the GameCube.
retrospective
Yeah.
vault episode. This is There Will Be Duds. We normally talk about movies. We're talking about games today.
Yeah.
This is in lieu of whatever movie we were going to talk about. Whatever that'll be next week, or another vault episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
We did one of these on the GameCube in the past. Maybe that was last week. Who knows? Maybe it was longer.
Maybe we're just gonna ditch movies and talk about video games.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about the GameCube broadly, just as a console. We talked a little bit about certain games, but now we're gonna go more into our personal picks, as well as our own top 10s, which that's what probably the bulk of this will be. But we'll start out by shouting out some other games. I think you ended up following the same rules as me for the top 10, like just
as much as I could. Yeah.
Okay, so our top 10s are just going to be first party or like GameCube only releases and no re-releases.
Yes. Yeah, or I sort of separated some, like you said, by like multiplayer party game.
Oh, no, I kept those in my top 10.
Did you? Okay, well then that complicates things a little bit.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Do you want to rework it? Or
no, we'll be okay.
Okay. Do we want to run through honorable mentions first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Okay. We've talked about a couple of mine already. I don't know, because I did put the Super Monkey Balls on mine, both of those. But there's not a whole lot to say about those.
Just good level design, good gameplay, like very innovative.
Yeah. Simple.
Okay. Were those your honorable mentions?
No,
pretty much
alternate or something.
Okay. I'll do, I guess, the bottom of my honorable mentions. This is a game I think I also like played the shit out of it, like very, very briefly. Like I got it, played the shit out of it, and then I never touched it again. Mm-hmm. But I remember fondly having a good time with it. Custom Robo.
Oh, I almost mentioned that was on my, I said I had a short list of games I never got around to but wanted to play.
Yeah.
That was one on my list of like 14. Custom Robo.
Yeah, it's like an arena kind of hack and slash gun sword game, but like you got to like customize your Robo with like different boots, guns, swords, peripherals, all that kind of shit. And I just remember very fondly having a good time with it. I haven't touched it since then. I don't know how well it holds up, but it was one of those games where we played it like all night long. Yeah. So Custom Robo.
Nice. I didn't do I didn't do my honorable mentions in any order. Doing the top 10 was hard enough, so. But I guess a few of these they may or may not be in your top 10. If they are, just say it. You don't have to like say what places, but you can just say that and we'll just be like, okay, put a pin in that one.
Okay.
Animal Crossing.
That's in my top 10.
Okay. Well, probably not this one. Four Swords Adventures.
Correct.
The Zelda game that I mentioned before. That's one that I was like, I mentioned in the part 1 that there was a couple that I'm like, that were like really hard. So like Four Swords Adventures might be my number 11.
Gotcha.
If we were ordering them. A big part of my love for it is that playthrough that I did with my friend on our Game Boys. But I have since played it through on my own a few times. I still think it's really fun. It mixes. It's basically the aesthetic of Wind Waker, or it's the look of Link to the Past, and the world of Link to the Past, for the most part, it's altered. It's not the exact same world, but it's very, very, like, there's a part where
the mechanics are very similar too.
Yeah, it's top down. There's a part where you infiltrate Hyrule Castle at the beginning. You go to the Dark Woods. You go, like, the general layout's the same, the feel, but it's with the sort of aesthetic of Wind Waker. A lot of, like, the sound effects and kind of visuals, like the smoke. It's like that dark purple smoke that you'll see in Wind Waker a lot. So it's kind of a mashup of two awesome games. And I don't know. I just think it's a lot of fun. It gets dogged on a lot by the Zelda community. I think it's one of the black sheeps.
Really?
And maybe because it's just more casual, it's not like don't play it for the story, which is, a lot of the reason I love the Zelda series is because of the story. So, but it's just, you kind of just get to play around in the world, and it's fun and silly. It's level based too, which is different for a Zelda game.
Right. But, like we were talking about, it sounds like it uses, like, their Nintendo's peripherals to the max, and it's like clever, innovative gameplay, which is just like, that's kind of in short supply these days anyway, like really solidly crafted, like, levels and puzzle solving type things,
And
that's
really,
go ahead.
And really fun, like, it's almost like there's a lot of fan service in it, I guess I'll say.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of, like, referential stuff included in. You're like, oh, hey, I know that guy, or I know that boss from this other game or something. Do a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I just got 2 more honorable mentions, and then it'll be the top 10 for me.
Me too.
Okay. So one of them is a racing game, which is another genre that I'm not super stoked about. I don't play a lot.
I wonder if this will be in my want to play.
Kirby Air Ride?
Oh, no, I did play that. That was almost in my honorable mentions.
Kirby, I remember having a good time with Kirby Air Ride.
City mode is top. City mode is,
that's what we did.
Fucking rocks. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, broadband.
Oh, there you go.
So maybe can you play this game online? What the hell? Why did it have broadband?
It's got to just mean LAN. Yeah, I don't know.
That might be what that means. Crazy. Okay.
That might be the first, I guess, video game appearance of Meta Knight, too, I think.
What do you mean?
The character Meta Knight?
Isn't he Meta Knight's been around. I thought he was in, like, Super Nintendo Kirby games.
Super Nintendo? I could be wrong. Maybe.
I feel like
maybe the first time he was a playable character. Maybe that's
maybe.
We'll say that. That's what I said.
Yeah, Kirby's Adventure, 93.
Fuck.
As a nameless character remaining unnamed until the game Kirby's Avalanche.
Oh.
Interesting.
Whatever.
But yeah, you could play as him, which probably might be a first.
Maybe. Yeah, I thought, because there's 3 modes, and it's like 2 of them were racing, and then one of them was city trial. One of them was like the top down, which, like, never really liked.
Yeah.
Like, you could see the whole track, and it was just top down. The regular racing was fine, but
but the city trial was like,
city trial was where it was at for sure.
Yeah, that was the main course.
Another Zelda. This might be in yours. Twilight Princess.
Yeah, it is.
It's in your top 10. Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, no,
it's lower on my top 10. I'll say that.
We'll get to it when we get to it. This is like, 4 Swords is high for a lot of people. I think for, like, people are like, man, he put that way too high, and now they're gonna be like, Twilight Princess isn't in his top 10. And
are you even a fan, bro?
Yeah, I guess we are officially talking about the GameCube. I should have stated that The Legend of Zelda is my favorite video game series.
Right.
Period. So I should, like, throw my creds on the table. But yeah, so I guess we'll get to Twilight Princess later.
Okay.
Then my last one is Beautiful Joe.
That's one That is one that I always wanted to play. I remember seeing it in Nintendo Power. The cell animation looked super cool. Always wanted to play it. Never had a chance to. Same with Killer 7, another like cell animated.
I had that on my want to play. It's both. They're both by Capcom too.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I couldn't put Beautiful Joe 2 on the list because by the time they made the sequel, that was also released for PlayStation. So it wasn't a GameCube only. The first one was a GameCube exclusive, though.
Yeah.
And yeah, that game fucking rocks. Such fun combat, really silly, just really like kinetic, like just balls to the wall the whole time. The characters are super fun. It's just a good time. It's one of those. It's a game that it's challenging. It's really challenging, but it's just fun, and that's what games should be. And I don't know. It's not a whole lot to say about it. It's just a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
With some really fun shit to it. Yeah. That game rocks. I've only played the first two. I don't know like how the series has been since, but
did they make more?
Yeah, there's. There was a Beautiful Joe 3, and then there's been like some with different names. I don't know if they're the same thing or if they're just like spin-off things or.
But it's like the first one is like the most iconic, like famous, like
I think the most iconic. Yeah, first one, the first two. Okay, I would say yeah. If you can get your hands on those ones, yeah, they're both awesome. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That would be my maybe. That would. Now I am not ordering them, I guess, because that'd probably be number 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then my last honorable mention. So it was a game that was released for the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube simultaneously, but the gimmick was each console got their own special character. Soul Calibur 2.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Is that in your top 10?
No, I didn't know. I'm just kind of surprised that it's in your honorable mention, I guess.
Yeah, no, this is another game that, like, I'm pretty sure we 100%ed. Like, did the story mode, got all of the weapons, all the upgrades. I mean, the main draw was Link. Like, right, yeah. I was like, hell yeah, Link's in this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even the other characters were cool. I remember, like, thinking Mitsurugi was, like, the coolest dude ever because he's a samurai. He's like the Masamune. He's so cool. Very surprised that this game is rated T for all of the female characters in the game because this game was like excessively horny in that regard.
Yeah.
Like Ivy, what's her face? She had like a skin tight red suit, and then it was just like every single female character that like wore a skirt, they'd get knocked to the ground, and the skirt would just go flying above their heads. It was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I remember, I think Soul Calibur 2 is like considered one of like the best fighting games, like one of the most balanced, well-made like fighting games ever. And like I've never really gotten into like Tekken or those fighting games of that similar style.
That's why it surprised me, because I didn't take you for a, not counting Super Smash Bros, like a traditional fighter game.
Yeah, this is really like the only one. This is the only one that I've ever gotten into, but I played the shit out of it, so it had to get an honorable mention.
I think everybody has their series. Like mine is Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat series. Like I haven't played the last handful just because I've fallen out of like modern games a lot, but like basically up through like Xbox 360, like played through like every Mortal Kombat, and then like Street Fighter I played a bit too. I like Street Fighter a lot, and then Kalia's is Tekken.
Okay.
Like for how little she plays games, it's crazy how much she knows about Tekken.
Yeah. So wait, is Heihachi in Tekken?
Yes.
That was the Xbox. No, that was the PlayStation.
That's right, the PlayStation. Yep.
And then Xbox
had Spawn.
Spawn, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And then with Link, you got like the Great Fairy Sword, and like it regenerated. It was so busted.
Yeah.
It was so busted.
Yeah, we were at that arcade thing in Lowell a couple weeks ago or whatever, and they had a Tekken. I don't remember which one it was. and like we played against each other, and then the winner gets to, you basically just continue playing like arcade mode, so you just continue playing against increasingly difficult like enemies. And I was like, oh, I have 2 like heavy characters, I need like a fast one. And she was like, oh, you should play as this is a good combo. And she'd like list off and she'd be like, oh, but no, I think you'd be better with this guy and this one. I'm like, okay.
How do you know this?
Yeah.
All right, top 10 time.
All right. I'm surprised that like none of your honorable mentions were in mine. So now I'm curious. Who wanna, let's go first.
I can go first.
Okay.
Coming in at number 10, this is one of the launch titles for the GameCube. One of my favorites. We got Luigi's Mansion.
That's my number 10.
Is it really? That's hilarious.
Luigi's Mansion is my number 10.
It just gets out of the honorable mention territory, I think, just because it's so memorable, you know, for its music, for the gameplay, for like just the charm of it, you know.
Yeah. And
it really encourages
charm,
you know, to look in every nook and cranny to find coins and money and just like all sorts of shit, you know. It really encourages like exploration.
Yeah. And I think like it's gotta be the most linear game that I have played as many times as I've played. Like there's not much wiggle room with how you play. Get a key,
it is go to that room. Get a key, go to that room.
Yeah, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And there's not much variation. There's like some parts where it's like you go to this spot and it's like, oh, you gotta backtrack a little bit or something. But I don't know. It's a solid the amount
game.
Of times I've played through it. Yeah. And it's really I think something to be said too about like the feel of playing it too. Like catching a ghost is so satisfying.
Oh yeah.
You're pulling the control stick in the opposite direction of like where they're pulling. It's such a cool, like clever way to do that. Other than just like other games would just be like it's tap like, A.
Yeah.
Yeah. That like just really, really clever, cool game. So it's my top 10 too. So
nice.
So it's back to you.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well, now we can talk about the elephant in the room. My number 9. I don't have it on GameCube, but I have it on Wii and Wii U for the remaster. Twilight Princess.
Well, it's not on my top 10, but I have the GameCube one.
Nice.
The superior one because he is left-handed, as Link should be. But also because the world is oriented the way that Hyrule is supposed to be oriented in the GameCube version, and it's flipped in the Wii version. Yeah. And it really bugs the shit out of me. Gerudo Desert is in the east. What the fuck?
How dare they?
So go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it's
your game to talk about.
I think it's maybe one of the least played Zelda games that I've got. Like I've run through.
Oh, that for you personally.
You know, all of them a few times, but I think maybe your copy of Twilight Princess is the one I borrowed.
Oh,
that like when I beat it years ago.
I've left that out to a couple people.
I have pretty fond memories for specific parts of that game, but I think overall maybe it's the most forgettable for me.
Man, this is your number 9. You're like
no, I know.
Less positive than you were about Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just because it's Zelda and it's like it's that core Zelda gameplay is still there. So it's like maybe that's what I like about it. I mean, the aspects of Twilight Princess that I really like, I really like Midna's theme is one of my favorite pieces of music in a Zelda game.
Yeah. I can never knock a Zelda. I mean, well, there's probably some, but for the most part, like, can't knock it for the music.
The music is always great. Yeah. Like the Ice Mansion dungeon, I really, really like. I think is really cool. I think the Ganon fight is pretty decent, but overall, it's really good. But I think it's lower than a lot of other Zelda games. I guess I don't know.
Also, I mean, it wasn't my honorable mentions. I don't dislike the game. I just know that there's people who like it a whole lot more than me.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a black sheep.
Yeah, it's very polarizing, at least.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a black sheep as like Forward Search Adventures. I think that definitely has more people against it than for it.
Yeah, I think in the Wii U HD remaster, I kind of fell in love with it again.
Okay. Yeah.
But also, I've probably told this story before, but like before Breath of the Wild came out, I was playing the Twilight Princess like HD remaster, and I was almost done with it. I think I was like collecting all the bugs to give to what's her face, like because you got to get the male and the female. Yeah. And literally, Breath of the Wild came out. I went and I bought it, and I never went back to Twilight Princess. Like,
well, I don't blame you there.
Like, I took the disc out, put in Breath of the Wild, and then I was hooked on that game for like a solid like 5 months. So I just played it every day. Yeah. Never went back.
Yeah, for me, it's not in my top 10, but I'll still put in my, I guess it was in my honorable mention. So I guess the big standout moments for me, because there are like a few moments that I really love about that, or a few elements. Of course, you got the spinner, super fun item. The double claw shots I love. The wrecking ball, or the ball and chain. Yeah,
that shit's cool.
Super fun, super satisfying items. I love my favorite moment of the game is when you go to the hidden village, and it does like the Wild West theme. And you're like, it's like you're doing like a bow and arrow, but it's like a shootout, like in a Wild West town type thing. And then I love it has some great bosses too, great boss fights. I love when Zelda games go big, and Twilight Princess goes big. Like Morpheal, the boss of the water temple, where you like it's like basically just like a giant eel, and it has like an eyeball on its head, and you claw shot to its back, and you like stab your sword into its eye. Yeah. And then Star-Lord's a great boss fight too. That's the one that you use the spinner for. He's in the Arbiter's
Ground. The wall.
Yeah. Arbiter's Ground. And then my favorite, and one of my favorite boss fights in like a Zelda game, is Argarok, the boss of the City in the Clouds.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because like utilizing it's the same thing with the Star-Lord. It's utilizing that dungeon's item to the fullest. Because you like climb up these pillars with the double claw shots, and like it's just really satisfying to, it's like it's Spider-Man light, the web slinging, and then once you climb up, you like claw shot the dragon itself, and you like pull it down to the ground, and it's just like any sort of like clambering up onto the boss itself is really cool. And really satisfying.
God, maybe I got to revisit that. I did it was like a really like wintry day like a month ago, and I got the urge to get out the remaster, and I started playing it again.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to it. It's just, and I love the darkness to it, but it's also off-putting to me in a way.
Yeah,
and I think I've talked before about how ugly
the character models
look in that.
Yes.
The only one it works for is like Zelda. She's the only one that looks like normal or whatever.
There is some spooky shit in that game. Like there's a very like,
and I like that stuff.
It's like an SAX moment for Link, where it's like the like whited out eyes of Link.
I thought you
just like floating.
About, I think that's after the first 3 dungeons, and it's like a cutscene, and then there's like they're like falling, they're like upside down, and like
it's really
creepy.
Drip.
Yeah,
very
I love
unsettling.
that shit.
Yeah.
I love the dark
and like
dark side to that.
The Stalfos that you can run into that teaches you new moves, and I think it's supposed to be Ocarina of Time Link.
It is.
Like there's some cool lore stuff in there as well.
Yeah, there is. Okay, and then my number 9 is a bit lighter. I don't think there'll be a lot to talk about. Mario Kart Double Dash.
Okay.
Is that you got that?
It's not in my top 10, but It's on the shelf back there.
Nice. Yeah, the ones that are like primarily multiplayer experiences are a bit weird to weigh against the other ones, but I don't know. I still got to give it chops for being just it's just another Mario Kart, and Mario Kart's really fun. I think it's the only one that did the two characters.
I believe so. Yeah,
really cool. Lot of fun levels. I really don't know. I really don't have much to say about it other than I was more of an N64 Mario Kart guy, and then all the other ones. I love that one too.
All the other ones, it's like they keep. I'm an old man. They keep adding shit to these games. New Mario Kart games, it's like if you don't know how to do the jump, drift, speed boost shit
stuff. Yeah.
It's it's so complicated now. But I would say 64 and Double Dash are kind of that peak. They added enough features, but it still feels like a good experience that you don't have to get super duper. You can pick it up and play it. There's no technical skill floor that you have to get to in order to win a race,
Yeah, just really basic tight controls.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to get the newest one just because I'm I haven't really played a Mario Kart heavily since Double Dash. And also with the Nintendo Online, you get all the free DLC.
Yeah, and I think they kind of went Smash Bros. Ultimate with it, and every course is available, N64 ones.
Oh, that's cool.
They're remastered, but
N64
Choco Mountain.
Yeah, N64. I was gonna say Choco Mountain. I love that one. N64 might have my favorite levels. The Toadstool Turnpike I love.
Yep.
And then the desert one.
Yep, with the train.
Yeah, that's another one talking about, that was in the part one, I guess, talking about just doing a racing game and going off the beaten path. I would just go to the train track and just run into the train.
Yep. Or you could go to Peach's Castle in one of them, like Mario 64 Peach's Castle.
Oh.
There's
yeah, maybe I remember that.
You have to go out of your way, but there's the course, and then if you hang a right, you can. It's kind of where the trophy sequence is at the end of the game.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
But it's accessible. You can get to it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's Double Dash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I know this one's in your top 10, and I hope you're not going to judge me for having it this low, but I think it's so stacked. I feel like you saying that it's one of two, and I'm going to be offended. if it's one of those two.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. But this is a game that I played much later in life. I didn't play it in the initial GameCube run. I got it years later. It's Resident Evil 4.
That's my number 8.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure where you had it.
I don't have my GameCube version.
Oh, okay. We switched with the Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did get this one on release though. The original GameCube version. Yeah.
I remember. Well, speaking of cool Nintendo peripherals, I feel like there was a chainsaw controller.
Yeah, there was.
Which that was because I feel like it's crazy that Resident Evil was on PS1 for so long, and then Resident Evil 4 is Nintendo gets it. It seemed like a wild choice for the first 3 were on Sony, but
it was a fun fact, I guess. I read that or I was watching a video on the GameCube, and I guess that the Capcom sort of partnership, it was the sort of, I guess it was a last ditch sort of effort to get some sales up on the GameCube because it was having such a tough time. So that's what got us Resident Evil 4, Killer 7, Beautiful Joe, and then a game called PN03, and then something else. Obviously the big one is Resident Evil 4, but then Killer 7 and Beautiful Joe were both critically received pretty well, at least.
Yeah.
Just not as much of the commercial success as Resident Evil 4. But
right. Oh, PN03 product number 3. I've seen this artwork before.
I remember it in Nintendo Power.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I was like, that's a mature game for adults. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I've played Resident Evil 4. I played it on the PC remaster, but I feel like the GameCube version holds up just as well. The controls are a little dated. It's kind of like, it's got the tank controls, but I feel like
advanced for Resident Evil at the time, though.
True. Going from fixed perspective to like being able to move around in a fully rendered 3D environment was like pretty crazy.
And I love those old ones too, but
yeah. But this one, I first experienced this game watching Connor play it.
Okay.
So it was like the summer that I quit my job before I moved to Lansing. It was just like, let's hang out every day. Like, let's have a high school summer. And Connor just came over, and we would watch him play for hours. It was like, it was like Twitch IRL, just like,
yeah.
And it was so much fun watching him play this game. And then, I played it myself, and it's still, pretty scary in some spots. You get like overwhelmed by Ganados, and it's like you get anxiety over it. Some of the Leon death scenes are pretty insane, like him getting his head cut off.
Yeah.
Or like sucked off by the Las Plagas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, honestly, that like I played through this. Yeah, I got it on release, and I played through it pretty fairly quickly. And then I may not have played it again until that stream last year, or like a few months ago. Okay. And a big reason for that is because of those deaths. Like, it's so traumatizing almost. Like, just, it's so extreme, and it's just like, I don't know, it's very like tough to kind of get over that. I know I played bits, or like I did Mercenaries. I would play that, even though that you get very violently killed in that just as much, but that, and then like knowing some of the spots, I'm like, I don't want to, that's scary. Like
the regenerators are scary.
Regenerators, yeah.
The blind guys with the claws.
Garados?
Yeah.
Something, or I can't remember.
There's a few moments where you gotta fight
Garadors. That's what it is.
You gotta fight like 2 of those dudes.
Yeah.
The left or the right hand, whichever one of those, that guy. It's just anytime you're chased, like getting chased by the suit of armor, those guys are terrifying.
I completely forgot about that part, and that was awful.
Or like, because I think that's part of the castle where you have to like get the queen's crown, and then like they all come to life. Yeah. And there's like 4 of them just like chasing you. Yeah. And you have to like take them out one by one. Yeah, it's tough.
The dogs in the maze.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just Resident Evil 4 is like a good blend of action and horror. It's like they really nailed the formula on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Thinking about it again, I may have played through it like one other time in between, but not as much for like how, like it being number 8. Like I haven't played it nearly as much as Luigi's Mansion,
Right.
If I was like, I really want to play Resident Evil 4 again, but then I'd be like, I could just play Luigi's Mansion. It's got the same vibe.
Yeah.
Something I didn't really notice about the game until I played through it a few months ago, is like thinking back, or like as I was playing it more recently, I was like, I had all these moments in my head, like, oh, there's the part where you're at the cabin and it's basically just like you gotta hold off against a horde for a while with Luis and Ashley. Oh, there's the dogs in the maze. There's the boss fights. There's all this. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I didn't realize how like it was kind of like, I feel like I had this experience when we were watching a movie for the podcast. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's like Pirates of the Caribbean, thinking of that. There's all these like scenes and moments in my head. And I'm like, oh, when are we going to get to this? Or The Matrix is another one too. Like that. That's another good example of that. where it's like, oh, I love this scene, I love this scene, but then it's like you play it or you watch them and you're like, oh, it's every scene is like that. Every moment, every beat of Pirates, of the Matrix, and of Resident Evil 4 is like, oh, that other moment that I was talking about, it's immediately after this, and then that other moment is right after that one. It's like every beat is great.
It's an incredibly memorable game.
Yeah. Real incredibly well paced too. Cool, like you have like a 3-act structure, like literally you're like in the village and then the castle and then the island. And I will say the village has to be my favorite. I think it's just favorite locale. Just I love that, the dead ground, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's like if it wasn't full of like zombies, it's like fall is my favorite season.
Right.
It's it's aesthetically very pleasing. Mm-hmm. Despite all of the horrible murder and
horrible shit,
slop.
Yeah.
Like all the food is just black and covered in flies and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I actually thought I was thinking the opposite. Like I was gonna say that to you. I thought that you would have had Resident Evil way higher up. So,
oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it back to me then, since that was also yours?
Another tie. Yeah.
All right.
I don't think this will be. I don't know. I actually don't know if you have. You've probably played my number 7, but.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got another black sheep of a game. Another black sheep of a major Nintendo franchise. I guess kind of akin to... It is thematically connected to Luigi's Mansion, and that is... It is a GAD product. Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh.
Is nice. My number 7. Is that in your top 10?
It is. Do we want to wait until... Should we just do it now, or...
Nah, we can just... You'll just
cover
just
it when it gets to mine?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 7 is Super Mario... No. No, my number 7 is Pikmin.
Another one that I wanted to play.
Never played it?
Never played Pikmin.
Yep. Yeah, Pikmin rules. And I know I played the sequel like once, and probably if I could remember it more, that one, I feel like that one probably is, it's sort of like a bigger and better deal. But I'm a lot more familiar with the first one. And also, I don't know. Maybe if I played the second one, I would think otherwise. But there is an aspect to the first one that they do away with in the second one that I guess people were criticizing about the first one, but I kind of think that makes me like it more. So the first Pikmin game, you crash land on this planet, and the idea is that you're gathering all this material to repair your ship so you can return home. And you basically have life support for 30 days, 30 rounds, however you want to call it.
Sure.
There's different levels, and you can visit one each day. And once that time is up, you either made it off the planet or it's a game over. And that's the whole game. It's not like you play the game and like, it's not like a 1-round thing. Like it's a full-length game. It's a few hours. But and yeah, people, I don't know. I don't think that like everybody hates it, but I think that was kind of a criticism about it, but I kind of like that. I like that aspect to it. It's another example of Nintendo taking a leap with the GameCube. Just really a very unique game, unique series at this point. Kind of RTS in a sense, with how you use the real-time strategy. Like it's like what you use for like a Command and Conquer or Total War game series. It kind of like that, like light, because you're, as in like Captain Olimar, the character you control, you don't fight, you don't do stuff, you're commanding these Pikmin to do it for you. And just very very creative, very intuitive with how you do stuff. It's all like a fun sort of puzzle thing. The game it's like an adventure game, but it's all kind of like one big puzzle in a sense. Very, very cute, charming series. I've only played the first two, but I really would like to play the sequels. The fourth one's coming out later this year, and
yeah, I see. I saw that they
that.
announced. Is Pikmin 3 for? What's Pikmin 3?
It's for
the Wii U.
Yeah, I think it's Wii U. They might have re-released it for Switch, but yeah.
Pikmin 3 Deluxe, yeah, for the Switch came out in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, a game that I always was aware of, and I knew that it, I knew it was around, but I never played it. But I don't know, it's cool. It's, how do I put this? I feel like Nintendo doesn't really make a lot of like new intellectual property these days. It's like Pikmin, and then like maybe Splatoon was the next like big original thing that they came out with, and then maybe ARMS or whatever, like for the
I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, because like the ARMS girl is in Smash Ultimate. That's,
okay.
But
a lot of theirs are like, like handheld. They had a few, like Professor Layton or Phoenix Wright.
Oh, that's a Nintendo IP?
I'm pretty sure it was originally Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Phoenix Wright too. There's a couple of like DS era ones. I feel like are kind of like minor. Okay. They're more like your Gex level icons, but
if you know, you know. Gex heads love them.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see something non Mario, Zelda, Samus, Yoshi.
The establishing of a new franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one that is beloved and is still going. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should re-release. They should like make all the Pikmin games remastered.
One
for
collection.
The Switch.
Oh hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I would get in on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's my 6 or 7.
My number 6, and I just want you to know this is in number 6, but the top 5 are pretty stacked.
Okay.
My number 6 is Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
Okay. Yeah, so are we waiting until later, or we just I feel like maybe we should just talk about them when they come up first.
That's fine. Yeah, we can rip that one off.
Well, we'd have to go back then to Super Mario Sunshine.
Or we could just do Super Mario Sunshine when you get to it. We can just do Metroid Prime.
We'll just wait. Okay, so we'll do Metroid Prime 2 later. I think it just feels weird because we're skipping 2 years in a row, but
that's fine. No, it's okay.
Okay, that was one of the 2 I thought when you did Resident Evil 4. I was like, okay. Very interesting.
I think it'll make sense when you see my top 5.
Because we'll probably be skipping my number 6 as well. Because you know what my number 6 is?
What's that?
It's Metroid Prime.
Really?
Hey.
Oh, interesting.
I accepted you putting Metroid Prime 2 down that low. That's funny that we got those flipped. I wonder if we have the other one. No. I don't know. I'll make a prediction, but I wonder if it's... I feel like it's pretty... It's like 1 or 2 for you, I'm feeling.
Yeah. So wait, what are we doing? Are we just skipping them all?
Number 5. I guess we're just skipping... Yeah, so we'll go number 5.
My number 5 is Animal Crossing.
Nice.
I played a shitload of this game. Everything about it is just so charming. It's probably one of my favorite like video game soundtracks of all time. The hourly music is so good. I would stay up late at night to hear, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., hear those songs. Because like I don't know, I was kind of a purist about time skipping. I didn't like doing it. I
didn't either. Yeah,
I did do it to like, because I was trying to catch all the fish and the bugs, and I would I would do it a little bit to skip to like, it's like, okay, to get a coelacanth it has to be raining at 3 a.m. in like spring, and I'm like, okay, well but musically the characters are funny. I feel like newer Animal Crossing games are much nicer. In the GameCube Animal Crossing, your neighbors would like be mean to you.
Oh,
it
right,
rocked.
Yeah.
It was so funny sometimes.
Yeah.
They would get, you'd like push them around, hit them with the net, and they'd get pissed. They'd be like, I don't want to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that shit. But yeah, all the collectibles, you know, it felt super full. And it's like, I don't want to say that like New Horizons is a disappointment in that way, but like New Horizons definitely doesn't feel as complete as...
That's what I've heard a lot of people say,
as like the OG Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
But I guess that's because like with the advent of DLC and just like, oh, we can add shit to it. But it's like Animal Crossing, we had to get it all out like as a complete package. But you know, it was cool. You could visit other people's towns, talk to their neighbors. You know, you could have your friend bring their memory card over and like you could go visit their town. Did you ever visit someone's town and then close the game out on accident?
I don't know. What happened?
Your character's face becomes a gyroid face where it's just
that's right. Yeah,
black holes for eyes. It was creepy.
Yeah, I must have then.
But yeah, it was just a really good like sort of sim type game that is very charming. Yeah,
it was. That's another one that was in my honorable mention, so I obviously really like it too. I feel like I would agree maybe somewhat about New Horizons. I feel like I have a little bit better experience with that because me and Kalia share the same island. So it is kind of nice. Although she has stopped like playing it as much lately. But I guess so have I, so it's not a big deal. But kind of having that there helps adds a little bit to it. But without that, yeah, I would maybe agree, which is weird because it does seem like there's like a lot more things going on in New Horizons, but yeah, I don't know. And it's been such a long time since I have played the original one too, so I can't like think of too specifics, but like I know there was more, like there's like the mayor's office, there was the post office, on top of like the cranny and all that, the museum, which police station too.
With like all the missing items.
And so there's like more in that regard, but
and the
like,
NES
thinking
games.
back, I really don't know. And the NES games, but thinking hard about it, like I really don't know what there was to do other than catch bugs or fish or whatever, but it just kind of felt more whole or something.
They would still do like the fishing tourneys on the weekends,
right?
They did the aerobics thing in the summer. I remember like the cherry blossom festival being really cool, really pretty.
Kalia's the complete opposite with the time jumping too, because because there's the like the Cap'n cruises in New Horizons. You can do them one a day. And basically she went through the entire list of villagers like on the Animal Crossing wiki and like picked like the ones that she wanted the most. So she would wait until a villager that she didn't want, and I'm pretty much like go with what you want. Like I don't have as much opinion about that, so I didn't really care. Like, but if there's a villager that she wanted to get rid of and she wanted to replace another one, and they'd say like, okay, I'm moving away. She would then like do an island. She'd like do an island, and then because like there's a chance that you'll get a villager. And she would do it so fucking like, but like the amount like she would try so many times, and most of the time it wouldn't, because like you're not guaranteed that there's going to be a villager on it. And also there's like 400 villagers in the game. But she got it to work like once or twice.
I remember when the game first came out, people were like, I want Raymond.
Is that the guy, the heterochromia, and he's got the glasses?
The cat. Yeah. He was like the talk of the town. Everyone loved him. I would see like Reddit posts like, I've got Raymond ready to move. Who wants him?
Because you can send them to other people? If
you like got their friend code and went to their island, you could talk to him. But it would almost be like bounties. Like you have to pay me 1,000,000 bells and you can come into my island and you can get Raymond.
Wow. Yeah, it's almost like opening the game up to the internet community made it feel smaller, you know?
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because, like, when the game first came out, I feel like I saw people tweeting, like, it's so funny to, like, write sort of, like, think pieces about it. But I feel like there were people that were just like, I'm time skipping in Animal Crossing, and that's okay. Like, it's like it was some sort of, like, you can't be mean to me about this, because, like, you don't have to justify it. You don't have to just do it. You don't. Not everything
you don't
has
have
to be.
Talk about it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a cause. You're not, like, marginalized because you're time skipping in Animal Crossing. It was so weird.
Yeah. Okay. My number 5 is Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay.
So it was your number 7, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Just it's another super tight Mario platformer. Maybe like the tightest Mario platformer.
Feels good to like the movement.
Yeah. It's got a lot of good movement, good, like, I don't know, jumps and stuff. I think it doesn't have the triple jump, which is like the one thing that kind of sucks. But other than that,
it does. I think it does. It doesn't have the long jump.
It doesn't have the long jump. That's it. That's the one that I miss because
long jump is a good one. And I think they kind of rectified that with Mario Odyssey, because Mario Odyssey, the movement is buttery smooth.
Oh yeah, I have not played Odyssey. I really, really want to.
Really? You haven't played Odyssey?
Mm-mm. I got to Switch pretty late, so I got a lot of catching up to do. But yeah, Odyssey is like near the top of my list.
Yeah. But yeah, the flood mechanics are cool.
Yeah, it just elevates that control scheme. Yeah.
Because, like, my favorite thing to do regarding movement is to, like, spray a little bit of water, jump, dive, and catch the water, because, like, the water, like, propels you even faster.
Yeah.
You can zip around in this game.
Yeah.
And then the the levels where they take away flood, the bonus levels, are super challenging. But I always loved the acapella, like, do 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 do.
Because you're going more like classic platforming, because you don't have the bonus thing. Yeah,
I still get sweaty palms thinking about the sandbird in the sky.
Oh, sandbird in the sky is tricky, but there's a few more that I think like make that one seem like cake. Sandbird is tricky, but if you know like the pattern or know the path to take, it's not that bad.
Yeah, but it's just being up high and like.
Yeah.
I think the two bonus levels we're probably thinking of are the Plinko machine and the poisonous river one.
Yeah, where you go on like the leaf or something like that.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, kill me.
Yeah. I don't know which one's worse. Those both fucking suck.
Yeah.
And I actually almost knocked this down a peg or two.
For those.
But I'm like, okay, but to beat the game, you don't need to do those.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weighing, like, do you count everything? Like, do you count, if you're, like, judging it, do you, like, if you do everything in the game or just, like, the story?
Yeah.
There's still some pretty challenging ones that you have to do for the main game, but, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, and those ones, like you said, where you don't have,
flood.
Fuck. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, where you don't have flood. I do feel like they wouldn't be as hard if it was a different Mario game, right? Like but it's like because you've been using flood, you're accustomed.
Yeah, you're conditioned.
To doing that. So that makes them a lot harder. But yeah, I put it up too because I love the setting. I absolutely love Delfino Isle,
and it's like
Delfino or
Delfino Plaza, Delfino Island,
the island, as a whole.
And it's like, I was talking earlier about like those sort of third-party games and how empty they feel. Like this game is like, it's such a vibrant little like community. Like there's just so much going on. there's like buildings, there's the birds that you can spray to get the coins out of them.
Oh, yeah.
There's just like there's shit everywhere.
Yeah. It's one of the games that brings me back to like first playing the GameCube the most, even though it wasn't like the first game I had played on the GameCube. But there's something about like some of these games haven't quite held up the magic to me, but I think Super Mario Sunshine has. It's one of the ones that takes me back to that the best or the most, and it is because of the environment and everything. It's just that super super bright. I like that like in every level there's still people around. There's the pizzas walking around and everything. They're just chilling.
Ba 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 ba. Like, the way that they talk.
Yeah.
Or they'd get pissed if you spray them with water.
Yeah. Delfino Plaza is a great hub area.
Yeah.
I love that you can see the other, like, you go to one level and you can look off in the distance and you can see the other levels, and like they're all like connected in that way.
Yeah, you can see the amusement park, or you can see like Rico Harbor.
Mm-hmm. And then when you go to Rico Harbor, you can see Nori Bay, I think.
Yeah. Yep, because you can see like the big orb that like the caterpillar is on, or like the egg or something like that.
That's a different. Yeah, which one? That's Gelato Beach.
Gelato Beach. That's right.
Nori Bay is like, it's like one of the later levels. It starts in like the water is like poisoned. You start like down and you're kind of in the water, sort of.
Okay.
They're kind of little. Okay. There's like a giant seashell. That's the one where like you dive off of a waterfall and you go underwater, and you have like a diving bell on, and there's
okay.
There's like a coin fish. It's like a fish just made of red coins.
Noki Bay.
Noki Bay, that's it. Not Nori.
But yeah, I know. Okay. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4 is a multiplayer game. It is probably the game that I have logged the most hours in for the Nintendo GameCube. It is Super Smash Bros. Melee.
That's my number 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, birthday parties, like friends coming over, hanging out, tournaments, all that kind of shit. Super Smash Bros. Melee. Like, Smash 64 was great. I played a shit ton of that. But Melee was, like, on another level when it came out. And, yeah, it's like, I know how you feel about, like, the competitive Smash scene, like, the new tech. And it's like, all that aside, it's still cool that like you can go on Twitch and see like a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament have like 60,000 people watching it. Like a game that old is still like, people are still learning shit about it. They're learning new techs. Like it's nuts that it's like still this vital 20 years later.
Yeah.
But just solid fighting game. Items were great. The multiplayer modes are so much fun. The story mode was great. Like I remember the Hyrule Castle section.
Yeah,
was like so cool to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, where you actually like it's like kind of almost a level.
Kinda. There's like redeads everywhere, and like you have to find the Master Sword, but you have to fight various like links, all that kind of shit. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, such a fun game.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's a legendary title at this point.
I think the number 1 seller for the console.
Yeah, it was. Yep, I saw that on the page for it. Yeah, I haven't played Ultimate as much. I've played it like a little bit. But yeah, it's almost kind of like the same thing with and I mean I played Brawl, and then I had the one for 3DS. And I liked the one for 3DS because it was handheld, but like that was the main draw for me. I don't know if I would have played it as much if it wasn't.
I really liked the Wii U one.
Yeah.
I had a good time with it, but it was like playing it competitively. Like they released Bayonetta and she was busted, and like there were no more patches in the game, so like that game effectively died.
Yeah.
because like the one character was like, it was like Meta Knight for Brawl. Because like Meta Knight is like the top tier character.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the Fox of Brawl. Yeah. But I when the Wii U one came out, we played it when I was living in Kalamazoo, and like Evan and Jordan and Casey and them would come over, and like we played a shitload of the Wii U one too.
Yeah.
But Melee easily is like the most hours logged.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Across like multiple memory cards, probably like tons of hours. I don't remember if that was when we were recording or not, when we were talking about like, I think it was, yeah, the list of like how to unlock guys, and you're getting like Mewtwo where it's like 20 hours or 700 matches, and like I knew half of it because I had done that multiple times across like multiple memory cards. Another just I'm noticing a theme is that, man, some of these games just super tight, super great controls. And then what I was gonna say is like kind of like what you're saying about like Mario Kart Double Dash or OG Animal Crossing is like it's like a slimmed down, like the newer ones are just too big, you know. I like it's neat that you can play as fucking Pac-Man or whatever the fuck now. You can play as like all these crazy
Minecraft Steve.
Yeah, can you play as James Bond yet? Probably
no. They should.
That'd be like the big, that would be awesome if they could. But
Pierce Brosnan for full mocap.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I think like I like the smaller roster on this one. Good level selection. I do wish that, because there are a couple throwback levels, like there are a couple from the N64 one, but like in my opinion, like maybe the lamest ones. I like the DK one, but I really wanted the Hyrule. I like the Hyrule Castle in the first one, and something else. There's another one that I like a lot. But
yeah, which ones made it to Melee? Dreamland was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You said the DK one with the barrel underneath?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we are also coming at this, which maybe is more of a point to the game's universality and status, that we're coming at this from like completely different sides, because I am very anti-competitive Smash. I love all items on. Maybe
just absolute chaos.
I do have not all items, but a lot of the I still have mine that I don't like. And then I like the levels that fuck with you. I like the ones that don't, but I love.
Hyrule Temple is classic. Hyrule Temple is like, that's like the level everyone goes to.
Yeah, but then I also like Brinstar. I like both of the Earthbound levels too.
Oh yeah, the Earthbound levels are great.
Aren't quite as invasive. Yeah. And then Pokemon Stadium, I really like the Pokemon Stadium one too.
Oh yeah,
and that one is really fucky.
That's actually a tournament. That's a tournament stage.
Is
Pokemon
it really?
Stadium 2, the one with like the level changes and all that shit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's tournament legal, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
in tournament it's like 5 stages available.
Really? And that's one of them. Interesting.
Final Destination, Battlefield, Dreamland, Fountain of Dreams, and the Pokemon Stadium 2. I think that's it.
Okay.
Basically the least intrusive stages you can get. I feel like Poke Floats might have been like a counter pick in tournaments, just as like, I don't know, being an idiot.
Floats is weird. That one's I play sometimes. It's not one of my favorite ones, but
no.
But yeah, and I'll throw down on a Corneria too. Like that's another pretty simple
good,
one.
Yeah.
I like Battlefield, but like Final Destination I don't like. It's just I'm not a fan.
Yeah. That's where the true test of skill is.
Yeah. It looks like Melee had the Donkey Kong one, Yoshi's Story, and Dreamland.
Yoshi's Story. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will say, regardless of how you feel about like the competitive scene, etc., one of the more recent developments in Melee is a Japanese player who goes by Amsa, who like that. The thing about Melee is that it's such an old game that it's almost been like perfected. Like it is Fox, Falco, Marth, Jigglypuff, Peach. Those are like those are your top tier characters. You only see those in tournaments. Occasionally you'll see a Pikachu, but it's like it'll be like the person who's like played Pikachu forever and is like the best in the world, and no one else can play Pikachu like this person.
Yeah.
But this guy Amsa who plays Yoshi has like been a major upset in a lot. Like he took the Big House, which is like Michigan's like national tournament.
Yeah.
And it was
I know that's the UFM.
Right.
I didn't know that they had a Smash tournament thing there.
But it is probably some of the best like competitive Melee I've ever seen is this Japanese dude who plays Yoshi. And it's just like, you think that the game is figured out and it's almost like mathematical, and he just came in and like completely wrecked house. And like watching him take the tournament is like one of the most satisfying things I've ever seen. So it's like 20-year game, and there's still people that have been able to like pull out some stops and surprises and like upset, what has basically been, the law of the game for like probably 10 years.
Yeah, that's cool. That like I feel like if you can master a character that is out of the norm or the meta, it'll
like lower tier.
Yeah, it can really fuck people up because they're used to fighting against those like
they don't know what to do
or whatever.
They don't know what to do, and it's like this dude would like because Yoshi's up B is like throwing an egg. He would do precisionally placed eggs. It was so goddamn funny. Like he would like throw an egg up, but it would like so it would only go up and then go down and like block him from getting on the ledge. Just like wacky shit that it was just so out of pocket that you're like you can watch the crowd be like, it's so cool. It's competitive game, party game. It does it all, and it still holds up.
Yeah. I'm not against there being a competitive scene. I'm just saying it's not what I like to play it as.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. We're in top 3 territory.
Top 3, and I feel like these are probably all gonna cross over. I think. Well, I mean, except for Metroid Prime, but I already mentioned it. It's on my top 10. But so, what's your number 3?
The only RPG in the top 10. It is a sequel, and probably one of my favorite RPGs ever. It's Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door.
Yeah. Do you want to save it for mine?
Yours is higher than 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not 3.
Yeah.
Really, really tight with these two. These are two that I'm still not 100% sure on. Okay.
So
Paper Mario might be number 3. So this is my number 2.
If you say this out loud, it's on record now.
I'm putting it into law. Yeah. Fuck. Now I'm really thinking about it. Yeah, I'll stick with my guns. It'd feel weird to switch now. It's Metroid Prime 2. It's my number 3.
No, you're number 3?
Yeah. Echoes.
Okay. The only reason I put it lower is because I've only really played through it once, and I don't have like that nostalgia factor like I do for Metroid Prime 1. I mean, I remember liking it a lot.
Flip side with me with the first one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that's played the first one, probably the same reasons you love that one, but like, it's taking a series that doesn't really do 3D, but just fucking nails it. Yeah, I definitely am skewed more towards this one than the first one because of the opposite of what you just said. But trying to like justify it without just my bias too, I do think, or like I guess thinking it more objectively, at least for me, why it's a more solid game, is there's, or like one of my main critiques, probably like my only big critique with the first one, is that there is a lot of backtracking, and that game does not really accommodate for that well. Like especially if you got to go to Phendrana Drifts, you have to go through Magmore Caverns, and it's just you're very limited with you're traveling between zones. Whereas in Metroid Prime 2, eventually you can basically get to any area from any area. So it makes that it kind of mitigates that my one big critique with the first one. But as for like the game itself, yeah, it's one of those that really I think holds up pretty well, and it's one of the only ones that holds up and isn't like cell shaded. You know, those ones.
Yeah.
It's going for like realistic or like good graphics, and it still looks pretty solid. Amazing boss fights. I also love the Dark World, Light World thing too. I love that it makes it way more challenging, especially early game, because if you are out in the Dark World, you're losing health, so you have to constantly find these bubbles of light. It adds this sense of urgency to the game that I really dig.
That's one of the things that I remember the most, is just like how nerve-wracking that was to like try to traverse and get to the next spot.
Yeah,
like, remain in light.
Yeah, yeah. It like it does a good job of making the Dark World, which is supposed to be this evil, imposing place. It makes it feel like that, because you're like, you have to like, you know, you step through the portal and you're like taking a deep breath because you know it's gonna be a challenge.
Is and then like remind me, is this like one where like things you do in the light world versus dark world like kind of affect the other one? Like there's like sort of
there's some of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. There's some rooms in particular where like that is like you're solving puzzles in the two parallel worlds in a sense.
Yeah.
And it is cool to see how like they differentiate how the dark world has like leached out of the light. Some of this praise is more for like the Prime series in general, but just like taking like how they got to make the Metroid formula work in this 3D
environment,
first person shooter.
Yeah.
Other than the tank controls, they nailed it, and it seemed like kind of like an impossible task, really. But yeah.
And hey, I mean,
it rules.
With the success of Metroid Prime Remastered, we very much could be seeing a remastered Echoes, and if they did a remastered Echoes with like updated controls,
yeah, yeah,
maybe my list would change.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love the weapons you get. They add in Screw Attack, which they didn't have in the first one. They got it to work.
Man, I haven't played this game since like 2005.
Yeah,
it's been that long.
Yeah, so it's probably a lot of what we're gonna say about Prime 1. It's just I think it does a lot of the stuff better, as any good sequel should.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'll give it also. I like I do really love Phendrana Drifts in the first one. That's probably my favorite area of that. But I think I in general like the variety of the locales in the second one a lot more too. Yeah. And we'll get to this with Prime 1 too, but the music. Yep. That's fucking top tier soundtrack in these games. And that's Prime 2, I guess.
Well,
is your number 2
my number 2 is Metroid Prime, so
All
we
right.
can keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you probably know what my number 1 is then.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't. I mean, I figured it was gonna be in your. Well, this was the other one when you said or Resident Evil 4. I was like, and you were like, oh, it's one that's high up. I was like, it's either that or Metroid Prime 2.
Yeah.
So I wasn't 100% sure, but
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Prime 1, I have the most nostalgia for. It's one I've beaten it like once, but I'll feel the urge to start playing it again, and I'll just like start another file. And
I've been ever since the remake. God, I really want to fucking play these games again.
Yep. Yeah, the remaster comes out physically on the 22nd, so soon I'm gonna be picking that up.
It'll probably be out by the time you hear this.
By the time you hear this, it'll be who knows how long it'll have been out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love everything about this game. The backtracking does get a little bit grating. I thought there were more ways to get to Friendana Drifts. It's only through Magmore Caverns.
It's only through Magmore Caverns.
Ugh.
Yeah. There's 2 elevators, I think, but it's just
Yeah.
Magmore Caverns.
Yeah, and that's like, that's kind of a staple in Metroid. Is it like the backtracking,
Like
or is,
revisiting areas? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's because it's like you get power-ups that gain you access to new areas.
It's kind of like in the DNA for Metroid.
Yeah, but the thing with Prime is that after you get all the powers and you backtrack, then it's like, are you ready to backtrack again for the Chozo artifacts?
Yeah,
and that's where
they
you're
do
like,
the fetch quest. Like,
yeah, and he's like, okay,
yeah,
it's like a reunion tour.
Yeah,
But,
I think that's the one aspect that they weren't quite able to do good, and I don't know if there is a way to do it, but like, yeah, there's a lot of backtracking in Super Metroid and Fusion, in like any of them, but with I don't know, like the side-scrolling nature, you can move so much faster. So like, sure, you got to backtrack, but you can get there so much quicker.
Right, and you've got like the whatever that power-up is,
Speed
where like
booster.
Where you just like run and you can fly through shit.
Yeah, if they could implement that in the Prime, I don't know how, but that'd be really cool.
And then it's like once you get Screw Attack in like a 2D Metroid game, you just wreck shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just everything that you were kind of talking about with Prime 2, I love about Prime 1. It's such a pretty game. Like, I've been watching YouTube videos that compare like the old one versus the remaster. And it's like, other than being like higher definition, like going from like 480 to like 1920 by 1080 or whatever, it still looks good.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Like, even when you land on Talon 5,
4.
and is it 4?
Fucking
I thought it was,
poser.
I thought I was
4.
watching.
Don't fucking test me right now. It's Talon 4.
I was okay. Well, then the YouTube guy that I was watching said it wrong because he kept calling it Talon 5.
Okay. Idiot.
But it's like you land, and it's like,
What's the planet
the
in
rain.
Metroid Prime 2?
What's that?
What's the planet in Metroid Prime 2?
I have the Wikipedia pulled up, but I don't remember.
Oh. It's Aether. I was just...
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like, you see, like, the rain hit Samus's visor.
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
like, when she breathes, you can see, like, her face reflected on the inside of, like...
Do a missile or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, like, little details like that just... Again, this is, like, the complete antithesis of, like, all those soulless, empty third-party games where, like, every environment in Metroid Prime feels so lush and, like, there's no detail, like, unturned. Like, especially, like, Chozo Ruins... There's just like the lighting and like the darkness in those worlds and just everything about it. It's like, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And yeah, other than the tank controls, gameplay is great, and I'm excited to play the remaster.
Yeah. And very, very smart. Like, one of my favorite HUDs, HUDs.
Yes.
I don't think anybody says HUD, right? They just say HUD.
It's HUDs,
yeah. In a video game, just because of how smartly it's done, like putting you in the shoes of Samus, you know, like switching the visors, but like everything's like there's a lot of shit on there in your way, but it's like, I'm looking through her visor, like it all like kind of makes sense. And
everything is easily understood, so it's like
yeah.
it's not complicated, even though there's like there's like a map, there's like your health, there's like the beams, visors, how many enemy, like there's all this shit going on, but it's like so intuitive and easy to understand that it's like
love the maps too.
Oh yeah.
Something I was gonna mention, I was watching a like Metroid Prime, I think it was the whole trilogy retrospective thingy recently, and I think it was in the comments, I don't even think it was in the video itself, but somebody mentioned something that I never noticed. But you know how maybe you know this, but all like the beams have like the like weird symbols next to them. So when you switch beams, so say that when you switch the beams, you see Samus puts her left hand up, and she'll do like this, and that corresponds to the beam that you're switching it to. So what it means is that in universe, there's like a reason to why it's like Samus isn't switching to the wave beam because you hit left on the C stick. Samus is switching to the wave beam because she told her power suit to switch to the wave beam by making this hand gesture. And I think that's a really cool like tidbit that I found out.
I guess I've always noticed that like when you do that, her hand moves, but I never correlated the two things.
Yeah. Just another like small detail that's,
someone made like pins of all the different like.
Oh really?
And yeah, that'd
cool.
be super cool.
Yeah. Okay. My number 2 is probably my favorite RPG of all time. It's Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door. I feel like because you have yours like lower, and then it gets to me, I'm like stealing the spotlight, even though you said it first. So you should go first. You should go first on Paper Mario.
Well, this one I have the benefit of like recency because I played it on stream a couple years ago, and it's a lot easier than I remember it being. Yeah. If you get the action command down, it's like it's a cakewalk. But aside from that, it's one of the funniest it's like one of the funniest games. Like every location feels so unique, and it's not just like a retreading of the original Paper Mario, which also is like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
But you get slightly different partners that have different skills. They really do some cool shit with like the paper stuff.
Yeah, paper like airplane and the
curse. The curses that you
that's
get.
Right. Yeah,
like,
the curses. That's right.
You turn into a boat, or you can like
roll
kind of go
a
like
tube.
The tube, yeah. So it's like they really do some cool shit with like the mechanics of turning yourself into paper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's, we always talk about the Excess Express and the Poshley Heights segment of the game being like just super cool,
breaking the mold of the normal like RPG formula of like going to an area, fighting some enemies, fighting the boss, and you do always fight a boss in the end, but like it breaks from that tradition a couple times in this game. In really neat ways.
Yeah, it's
because you have your like Murder on the Orient Express thing with the Poshley or the Excess Express, and then the other part that I think about is the Glitzville arena,
the
like,
masked wrestling segment. Yeah, it's so cool.
It's a cool little different thing. Yeah, I recently replayed the first one because it was on the Switch Online thing. I really need to play this one again too. For the longest time, I was like flip-flop between which of the two were my favorite. But I think it's got to be this one. I think there's just those beats, those moments, I guess, that like break from the tradition, or just I love how like colorful it is. I love all the different areas. It's another extremely charming game too.
Mm-hmm.
Very clever. If like I'm repeating, there's like some keywords that I'm repeating a lot in this top 10, but I guess that's what I like.
You get to play as Bowser a couple times. Bowser's funny. Bowser's very funny in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he calls Rock Hawk a chicken nugget, I remember like laughing my ass off because it's just it's just so ridiculous. But yeah, like the locations are pretty. The music is fantastic. Yeah. Like, and it's hard. There are some elements that are pretty difficult, like the like pit of 100 trials.
Yep.
Even like the final boss, like the Princess Peach, like witch, 1,000-year curse, it's pretty tough if you don't do it right. If you don't like level up the right stuff, use the right badges, etc. Like really, strategize correctly in order to win.
Yeah. There's a good amount of what do I want to not like bonus content, but there's a good amount of like side questy things, or like if you're trying to like 100% it or do there's a lot more meat to this. On top of like the story, the request, like the community. Like I saw this guy in Poshley Heights that owes me money. Could you go find him? Yeah. And then there's like collecting the badges too. There's I think there's something with like the mafia maybe, or maybe that's part
Don
of the story.
Pianta.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just
there's
thinking
even an
of
optional partner.
Oh, is there?
Miss Mouse.
Oh yeah. That's tied in with that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I have gotten her before. I don't think I really ever used her. I don't think she's like that great.
Yeah, like if an enemy had an item, you could steal it from them, but
yeah. Okay. So it sounds like we have the same number one.
Yeah. I figured this is gonna be the case.
Oh well, I mean, I figured it was obvious for me because I think I've just maybe I haven't mentioned it on the show. I mean, I don't know when it would come up. I just feel like I have mentioned it before on the show, that it is not only my favorite GameCube game, it is my favorite game, period. Is it your favorite game? Or just your favorite? Or would you just say your favorite game?
Oh, don't make me pick that now.
Oh, okay. What are your other contenders? I'm curious.
I mean, probably like Breath of the Wild is up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
other Zelda titles. Spoilers.
Yeah.
For 5 seconds from now.
Yeah, but gun to my head, it's hard for me to pick a one above this one, honestly. So maybe it is my favorite game.
Nice.
It's
the Legend of Zelda. I don't have this one. The Wind Waker.
Oh. Yeah, see, mine came with the slot for.
Oh, we had a separate case for that one. Yeah, we had them in.
Yeah, so it's got like both booklets.
Oh yeah, because you said you got it when you got it. Yeah, so we did get ours as a pre-order thing. So we got Master Quest and Ocarina of Time when we pre-ordered it. And
this was bundled with the GameCube that we got.
Oh yeah, right. You said it was with the GameCube. Interesting.
Yeah. The animation, the cell animation is what makes it hold up so well that, like I said earlier, like the HD remaster just kind of added a fresh coat of paint, but otherwise it's like they didn't have to change much to make it look really good.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe my favorite Zelda score.
I think it's my favorite Zelda score. Yeah. And I kind of tie that in with. I mean, I don't. It's not like that's the reason why it's my favorite game, but I'm like the scores are so integral to Zelda games, and it's like it's fitting that it's my favorite score as well. It's like for me, it's no contest. Like favorite, you got the version of the King's. I forgot what it's called. Like the King's Lament, I think. It's the it's
Hyrule Castle in Link to the Past.
Yeah, that one.
That's one of my favorite parts of a game ever, when it's black and white and all the enemies are frozen, and then you pull the Master Sword and then you have to go and kick their asses.
One of my absolute favorite like gaming memories ever. I had Tom was over watching me play this, and I was playing this. Like, I got to this point, I was like going through the Tower of the Gods, and then he fell asleep at some point in there. I did the whole dungeon. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then but then like you finish that, and then it's like that opens up, and I'm like it's so late, but I'm like, what? I was like, I have to keep playing right now. What is going on? So I go down there, and like I get to the Master Sword, and I'm like, Tom, wake up. And he wakes up, and then I pull it out, and then there's all and like he was like cheering me on. It was like, yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
Like awesome moment. I fucking love Link in this game. I love how expressive he is. I like the story as a whole. I like the whole sort of like moving on, passing the torch theme of it, as well as like how he gets involved is like trying to just save his sister, you know. But you know, then when you get to like my absolute favorite iteration of Ganondorf, I love that he's just this bitter old man who can't let go of the past. Yeah. And like because his wish, you find out that like he's kidnapped all these girls, he's done all this like damage, he blew up Great Fish Isle, he's done all this shit to the Great Sea because he wants to rule a sunken kingdom that nobody knows exists anymore, because he's a petty little bitch. And I fucking love that. Yeah. And then when you get to the ending, you get the Triforce, but then before he can do his wish, the king pops up and wishes for Hyrule to be sunk under the waves. And Ganondorf just wants to, because he's done, and all he wants to do is fucking kill some kids. That's all he's out to do at the end. Like, you're not fighting to save anything at the end of that game. You are just trying to stop this guy who really badly like hates you with all of his being. And it's so fucking satisfying. Like, and then the way it ends, it's like, it's perfect. I'm working myself up so much right now, I know. But the coolest fucking ending to, you know, you do the parry and then the stab down into the head. God damn it. Like, it's my favorite game, you know. It's
and I feel like it's such a good Ganondorf, because I feel like in other games he's like wild and crazy, and just like he's kind of like he's just bad guy monologuing. But I feel like in this one you kind of get these little moments of humanity with him too, where he's like talking about the Gerudo being cast out, and just like I think that scene, I think it's after the Forsaken Fortress, or like right around there, where you're kind of in like that crow's nest, and he like he pops on behind you, and he kind of like starts talking to you about shit. And then I think, is that when like the bird shows up? I'm trying. Yeah,
it's been a second. Like, chucks you across the ocean. Yeah. So that's the first time you go to the Forsaken Fortress. You find your sister, and then the Helmrock King gets you there, and the Helmrock King carries you to Ganondorf.
That's right.
And then he talks to you, and then he's like, okay,
bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the exploration of the ocean is so much fun. I loved getting like the telescope and just like looking around. It's like, oh shit, there's a bunch of seagulls. There's a big Octorok over there. Yeah. And then you have to, you know, similar to like Breath of the Wild. I was going to
bring that up if you didn't.
On a bit of a smaller scale, but it's like Breath of the Wild is like, what's over there? whatsoever. Like the sense of exploration.
Yep.
It's like a big ocean, but it doesn't feel empty. Like every little quadrant has something going on. There's an island. There's a Goron selling like a flower pot, which I never got too into that kind of shit. I didn't like the trading.
Oh, the trading, yeah.
But you 100% of this. Like,
100% in this one too, yeah.
Which
let's see.
With the models is crazy.
Let's see who's the real gamer here. I think I've 100%ed every game in my top 10.
Ooh, I have not done that. Especially not like Metroid Prime. I've gotten close, but I haven't gotten like all of the missile expansions or the health things. You've 100%ed Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door.
I did it once. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Because like some of that's up to chance, right? Like where badges are. Eesh. Or like all 100 shine sprites. Or no, sorry, star pieces.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think badges were probably the thing that took me the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Breath of the Wild comparison. I was thinking of that too. Like, and I don't know. There's like Breath of the Wild definitely has more. It is also like the bonus to Breath of the Wild is that there's like so many good like views, you know. Just a lot of good vistas in that game. Yeah. But I would argue that I still think that the Wind Waker does that better, in a sense that like I think, and I'm saying that because like sure there's, and don't get me wrong, I adore Breath of the Wild too, but there's that sense of like, oh, what's that thing over there? I'm gonna go climb that, and then oh, there's a reward. It's not just, you know, there's a thing, but a lot of the time in Breath of the Wild it's a Korok seed, which is like, it's nice that you get something, but in Wind Waker it's like, you know, you get like you meet a great fairy and you get a magic upgrade, or you get a heart piece, or like I think the rewards are a lot more substantial. There's a lot less to it, so they can do that,
right?
But yeah,
or like the submarines. I always love the submarines, or just
or the outposts, or the the tower things. Yeah,
and like figuring out, okay, how do I get this treasure chest? How do I figure out what to do for this, you know, quadrant that I'm in? I always like the cannon fights, like the boat fights. I always love that shit. Yeah, there's such a variety to this game of what you can do, and I think you know, the boat aspect could be boring and shitty, but it's not. Yeah, like the game gives you enough to do and enough sense of exploration that like even going across the ocean is like amazing. Yeah, and you got another great track to listen to when you do. The Great Sea. Like the Pirates theme is one of my favorites. That's one I was thinking of too. Yeah, Malgera is another one that I like. That's the theme for the one boss. The sub boss. Oh, that's probably my favorite one in the whole game. That one's great. Dragon Roost Island is great. That one's, and I love the way that they echo that in Breath of the Wild when you get to that section of the game. Oh yeah, I've heard it's like slowed down Rito. Or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it comes in very subtly. It's the yep. Yeah. Yeah, it does that part. That's right. Yeah. Oh man, we didn't even talk about Metroid. The Metroid Primes are incorporating older music. Yeah, we talk about that music. But that's got some good stuff. Throw that on if you want some like good lo-fi beats to study to. Go do the Metroid Prime soundtracks. Man, it's weird. It's weird how like it's harder to. We're so conditioned to talking about movies. There's a certain like language to it. It's a little harder to switch to video game mode, because I feel like there's like more I could say about Wind Waker, but it's kind of harder to put it to words. Is this the first one that introduced the like parrying and like the more like L targeting aspects? Because I feel like in I think parrying for sure. In Ocarina of Time, there was like kind of you could target to like fight, but then in Wind Waker, it's like you can target to like attack. Yeah, and like But this is the first one that was like when you train with the guy on the island, he like kind of shows like when the A button like illuminates, like if you press it, you can counter, you can like you roll behind him, and like the fighting mechanics felt so smooth and rewarding when you're like in a battle with someone and you just like wreck their shit.
Yeah. Yes, that is something I wanted to say is that, the combat in this game is very nice. Just so many elements that I would just, like, the word that's coming to mind is satisfying. There's so many satisfying aspects to this game. Combat just feels great. Parrying feels great. It's like, what's the I feel like there's a term that you use for it. You always say when like getting a headshot in Fortnite and the noise, like what's that? The like
it's like a haptic.
Yeah, like the feedback or whatever that you get.
It's like a certain sound effect that is just like it's pleasing to the ears.
Yeah, and that's what this game has in spades. I think it's like visually, and then audibly,
auditorily, orally, like
something. Because like it has some of the most appealing like sounds for like hitting someone or like getting like an arrow shot off. Or when you deal like a death blow, it's like a whoosh, and it's like they're dead. Yeah. You know, the sound effects are like impeccable. The stuff like the smoke that poofs up when you kill an enemy or something, or something that I love, like sound effect that I love is when you kill like a bigger enemy, like a dark nut or a moblin, they'll sometimes drop this glowing orb that you can hit, and it like breaks into, it like shatters into a bunch of different items. Hitting that thing feels so nice.
Yeah, and then it
just goes like.
Yep, and it's like rupees or like pendants and necklaces and all that kind of shit. Yeah. Just feels great, looks great. I think it's probably got the most some of my favorite, I don't know. Definitely some of my favorite bosses, cuz I love Malgera. I love the last like Ganondorf fight. I love Calidamos, the boss of the Forbidden Woods. I love that one too. And then I really like all the dungeons too. They're all pretty. Yeah. They're pretty easy from what I remember, but I like them a lot. And then the later ones where you get to use like Medley and Makar. Yeah.
Neat mechanics.
The mirror shield. It's Medley's one.
Yeah. There's like that last, it's like the last room you have to go through in the Earth Temple, and it's like a series of, you have to like turn a bunch of statues.
Yeah, they'll
and
like
position
reflect.
Medley. Yeah, and it's like a long string of reflections to get to like one thing. Yeah. Yeah. And I love exploring in this game so much that the I don't even care about the Triforce shards fetch quest.
Oh yeah.
People always complain about that part as like the big kind of negative, but it honestly doesn't bother me, because I don't know, it doesn't seem like it takes me super long at that, because I'm like I usually have like enough rupees at that point to pay for the deciphering, and then I don't know, you get to do a couple little treasure dives, whatever.
Yeah, and like finding a treasure chart is like super satisfying too, to like pinpoint exactly where it's at and then land where it is, and then use the claw to like pull out the chest.
Yeah, the different ways the grappling hook is used is fun.
I guess this one does have the least amount of dungeons, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's 5, 6 if you want to count
Ganon.
The Hyrule Castle the
Hyrule Castle. Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorite parts too. Is once you're able to like cross the barrier, and you're outside underwater, but it's like like that pathway that you have to go down, and there's like enemies kind of up ahead.
Yeah.
and then
I
you
think
get
it's
through
like
and-
super quiet.
Yeah. Or like the music's just like boom boom.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like it's just kind of like oddball. Well, it's like you're in a weird out of time, out of space location, so the music's appropriate for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's like right before you fight like the puppet Ganon.
Yeah. That's a cool fight too. Yeah. There's that was always something that bugged me. I think well actually no, Majora's Mask has fewer cuz it only has 4. And then 5 if you count the moon, but technically the moon isn't even like if you're just going for the game, you just walk up to the one kid and you just immediately start the last fight. All the other side things are optional.
Yeah, that's only if you want to get the Fierce Deity's mask.
Yeah. There was apparently in the Hyrule Historia, there's like concept art for like an additional dungeon or 2, and one was gonna be so after you do the Forbidden Forest, there's the what do they call it, like the Long Night or something like that, where that's where you go to Great Fish Isle and it's like destroyed, and then you go back to Outset and you find Jaboon on the backside, and then you have to go up to Windfall and like that's where you get the bombs. I forget how you end the night. Oh, you end it by raising the Tower of the Gods. That's right. But so he gives you your third pearl, which you were getting from beating the dungeon. So originally they were gonna have, I don't think Great Fish Isle was gonna be destroyed, and there was gonna be like a water dungeon there.
Okay.
There was concept art for like you enter it by there's like a guy on like a dock fishing, and you like hop on his fishing line and like go down like into the ocean, I guess, to get to the temple or something like that.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it.
We only petered out a little bit towards the end, but it's pretty late.
Yeah. Well, and also I just like I'm like I need to have more to say about this. We're talking about Wind Waker, but we're not. After talking about video games for 3 hours plus not knowing a lot of the language for it or something, but
yeah. Well, it's like there's only so much nostalgia can like evoke when it comes to these games, when it's like I haven't played a lot of these in the better part of a decade,
right know? Yeah it's been a while for me for like Paper Mario, Pikmin, Wind Waker too. Actually, it's been too long.
I played the Wind Waker. I don't think I beat Wind Waker HD, but I got pretty far in it, and like I mean everything about it is still incredible.
Yeah. If we were giving like our normal movie ratings, how many of yours would get 10 out of 10? I want to say like my top 4 I would do 10 out of 10. So Super Smash Bros. Melee, Metroid Prime 2, Paper Mario, and Wind Waker. I'd say 10s.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, my top 4 would be 10s, and then the rest would be like 8s or 9s.
I think all the rest of mine are 9s, pretty easily. Yeah. And then probably once you get to my honorable mentions would be like 8s.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, for a console that had a shitload of games for it,
not relative to some other consoles.
Yeah. It's I don't know, it's again, I guess you've played more than I have, but it's like I don't know, it's kind of remarkable how like maybe a handful are like the most famous ones and everything else is sort of forgettable garbage.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be the case every like I feel like those like sports games are only relevant
That's
like
just how
the
it
year that
goes.
they're out.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a handful more that didn't make my list that I still like a lot.
Yeah.
It's just there wasn't room. Oh, I did mention in the first part that Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3, that one's good.
Yeah.
Just a lot of the other ones are those name titles, trying to think of like Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I love that one. That's another fighting game I like. Lego Star Wars, those are really fun too.
Yeah, and like with the advent of like emulation, it's easier now more than ever to like play those games rather than paying $150 at like a secondhand store.
Yeah, you can probably play all of them that we listed in our top 10.
Oh yeah, easy.
The only one that's out of reach is Four Swords Adventures, probably. Well, you can still do first. We're one player, but yeah.
Yeah. And what's cool is like with those emulators, there's like modding communities that have like updated the graphics for a lot of those games. Like I've seen like someone modded Metroid Prime on Dolphin, and it's like it looks like the remaster.
Oh, really?
Textures. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I don't know. We don't really have we have like a thesis. We don't have a grand wrap up for like what does the GameCube mean to us. It's just what it means to me. It's probably my favorite game system.
Yeah, for better for worse.
I think the Switch is the perfect game system for me now. Like having something that I can play handheld if I need to, because I do play that a lot more than TV. So like, yes, I am grateful that I have the Switch now, and it is perfect for me now. But yeah, I think all in all, there's just something special about this little lunchbox.
Yeah. I think that's a good pin to put in it.
Yeah. So, well, that's this is a Vault one. So, next time we do a Vault episode, it'll be a different topic of some sort.
Yeah.
We'll kind of we do kind of have a couple planned out, but we're not gonna tell you.
Watch this space.
Yeah, well, I'm acting like we have some sort of like audience, so we could be like, suggest what you want us to talk about.
Yeah. Comment on this YouTube video what you want us to talk about.
Yeah. But this was a lot of fun. Like it was.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't as I was a little worried it was gonna be messy since we didn't have like too solid of an outline, but I think it went pretty well.
Yeah.
Cool. And with all that said, whatever next week's movie is, if you don't want to be spoiled for it, watch it. We mentioned it in the last episode, presumably. Watch it before next week's episode. These episodes come out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST on Twitch and YouTube in video form, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts in audio form. We also have social pages on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. I said that out of order. It fucked me up. So give us a follow or whatnot. I don't know. Or don't. Fuck yourself. I don't care. It's almost 1.
You think we need you?
We do.
Please.
And with all that said, I am your petty, middle-aged bitch that just wants to see the world drown. TJ, aka JSpot Jack Cheese, and with me as always,
I'm your grandma who wants to make you soup.
Aww.
Sadly watching as the boat takes off, and it's a genuinely sad bit of that. Yeah, man. The music that plays and your grandma's just sad. Ugh. Yeah.
What's your name?
Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch.
All right. Who? Game on. Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Who are you? Yeah.